हेलो एंड वेलकम टू स्टेप अहेड। जैसे कि आपको पता है कि हमारी एक सीरीज चल रही है फेलोशिप की कहानी फेलो की जुबानी। तो इस सीरीज में हम हर हफ्ते हर संडे अलग अलग फेलो के साथ बातचीत करते हैं। तो इस बार हमारे साथ जुड़ी है श्रेया। तो वो है टीच फॉर इंडिया की फेलो। तो हेलो श्रेया।
हाय सरस्वती।
या तो वेलकम हमारे शो में।
थैंक यू फॉर हैविंग मी।
ओके। तो हम अभी श्रेया से अपनी बातचीत शुरू करते हैं। तो श्रेया, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आप बताइए अपने बारे में।
Hi everyone. My name is Shreya Goel and I'm currently doing the Teach for India Fellowship, and I'm in my second year of the fellowship and will be teaching grade 4 students next year. And I am originally from Delhi. I completed my BCom honors from Sri Venkateshwara College and Delhi University. After that, I worked with KPMG and then I joined the fellowship.
ओके। तो श्रेया, आपका फेलोशिप ज्वाइन करने का पीछे क्या पर्पज था?
So my main purpose behind joining the fellowship was that I very firmly believe that education is that one thing which can help us have a better shot at the future. And through my personal experiences and in the past also, I feel that education has provided us with a certain privilege that helps us be better off in life. And then I volunteered with a couple of organizations that further cemented my belief that I want to work into the education space. So I joined the Teach for India Fellowship so that I can deepen my understanding about how things happen on ground in the education industry.
ओके श्रेया, तो ये तो हुई आपके रिगार्डिंग बातचीत। अभी हम ये जानते हैं कि ये टीच फॉर इंडिया जो फेलोशिप है वो एग्जैक्टली क्या है?
Okay. So the Teach for India Fellowship is basically a 2-year program जिसके अंदर fellows are placed in a low income school under resourced classrooms for 2 years, and they teach grades from it can be any grade from class 2 till class 10. Currently, Teach for India is in 7 cities across India, and the main uh, goal of Teach for India is to eliminate education inequity across India.
ओके। तो ये अभी हमने इंट्रोडक्शन लिया टीच फॉर इंडिया फेलोशिप एंड श्रेया का। तो अभी थोड़ा सा आगे बढ़ते हैं। तो श्रेया, हमें बताइए आपकी एप्लीकेशन से लेकर सिलेक्शन तक की जर्नी कैसी रही?
Okay. So the application process is actually a 3-stage process. जिसमें the first step is the application form and an online test. Application form has basic questions about us and a few questions on essays also. Ki, why do you want to join the fellowship? What are your purposes and motivations behind it and aspirations regarding it? Then the online test is a basic test to check your language skills and other things. Post this, we have a phone interview. It's usually a 30-minute interview, and that's just to further evaluate the candidate. Then we have an assessment center. So that basically entails one problem solving activity, and you have to present a lesson plan in which you ideally prepare a topic and then you teach that topic. So you record a video of yourself teaching that topic, and that is basically the assessment center. And post that, there might be an hour-long interview as well. That is the selection process.
ओके। तो ये तो हुआ सिलेक्शन तक का। व्हाट आफ्टर द सिलेक्शन, मतलब जब सिलेक्शन हुआ फिर आपका कुछ ट्रेनिंग वगैरह हुआ होगा या फिर आपने जब लोकेशन ज्वाइन किया तब कैसा रहा आपका एक्सपीरियंस?
Okay, so in the application form only, we are asked our preferences on which class we would want to teach and which city do we want to locate in. So accordingly, they decide which place we'll be placed in. And we have our induction after that. So, and then we have a 2-month long training in which we are essentially prepared on how to teach in classroom. We are prepared according to whatever grade we will be teaching, and we are also prepared for other things like how do we deal with the community, how do we solve for other challenges that we'll have in our fellowship. And in the process, we are also helped out with the housing arrangements and other things when we move from another city. Like I remember we got a whole list of brokers when we moved to the city, and I moved in 2021. So during that time, we had just like stepped out of lockdowns and everything. So we got a whole
या
list of emergency numbers and contacts also that we could reach out to.
ओके, तो आपको फुल सपोर्ट मिलता है घर ढूंढने और बाकी सारी चीजों के लिए। ये बहुत
Yeah.
अच्छी बात है, क्योंकि हम न्यूली कोई लोकेशन ज्वाइन करते हैं तो वहाँ पे कोई हमारा जान पहचान का नहीं होता है, तो इस टाइम पे सपोर्ट बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट रहता है। ठीक है श्रेया, तो फिर बाकी अरेंजमेंट्स तो हो गए, बट जब एग्जैक्टली आपने वर्क स्टार्ट किया होगा, तो तब कुछ चैलेंजेस फेस किए थे आपने?
So when I initially started, we faced a lot of challenges. I started my journey online. So the key challenge was to have access to students. Since at that time, most students did not have access to internet and different devices, it was very difficult to reach them to find out where they're staying, because sometimes what happens is that school also does not have the complete record of the school. So that was one major challenge on how to reach kids and ensure that they are attending online classes at that time, because keeping in mind all the different barriers that they are also facing of lack of internet, electricity issues, and all those problems.
या तो अगर हम जानना चाहे कि एज एक टीचर फॉर इंडिया फेलो, तो आपका रोल क्या होता है?
So the major role of a Teach for India fellow is to teach in a classroom for 2 years. Jesse, I was allotted grade 3 last year, and I'll be teaching the same set of kids this year as well, in class 4. So my major role is to make sure that they're receiving excellent education, and beyond that also to support students in such a way that they are on a different path, and they can do something meaningful and be excellent citizens of the country. So that's the major role of a Teach for India fellow.
ओके श्रेया, तो आपने अभी तो रोल बता दिया, क्या हम ये जान सकते हैं कि आपका इस फेलोशिप में डे फ्लो क्या होता है, कितने आवर्स आप वर्क करते हैं, एंड वीकली कितने डेज काम करना होता है आपको?
Okay, so it is usually 6 days a week, but that also depends from school to school. So, for example, my school is working on Saturday. There are certain schools which are not working on Saturday. So, those fellows don't have to report to the school on Saturday, but they might
ओके,
have other work to attend to. So, the working days might be a little bit subjective according to what classroom you are placed in, or what city you are placed in, or what school you are placed in. But the day basically looks like for me is that my school starts at 7 o'clock. It goes on from 7 to 12:30. So I'm teaching in school at that time. Then I come back to my place for lunch, and I go back for extra classes around 2 to take extra classes for students. So from 2 to 4, I have those, and 4 to 5, I have extracurricular activities for my students. And there are also community visits on certain days. Like I switch between both the things. Some days there are extracurricular activities, on other days there are community visits. Community visits basically mean that visiting students' houses so as to meet their parents and get to know their community better and understand those things. And then post that, there is a lot of planning also involved on what do we have to teach the next day, what were the breakdowns in the class today, and how we can improve that. But this can differ from fellow to fellow, because certain fellows have afternoon schools as well.
या वो भी है। तो फिर ये जो पूरा वर्क होता है, इसमें फील्ड विजिट्स कितनी होती है और कितना टाइम आप ऑफिशियल वर्क करते हैं, लाइक कि कोई रिपोर्ट हो, कोई डॉक्यूमेंटेशन हो?
So, field visits, there isn't a set particular time for field visits that you need to complete itne field visits, but we are pushed to go on the field and visit parents and communities and understand their background. And it's actually very helpful. So, it's very helpful to spend a lot of time in the communities so that you can gauge a broader understanding of their lives and understand it. And as far as the official work is concerned, there are certain trainings which require pre-works to be submitted and certain things, but they do not take up a lot of time. Like, it's manageable with that. And besides that, we have school administration work, which can differ from school to school.
ओके,
So Certain schools have that you need to put in mandatory 1 hour or 2 hours after school in the school to complete your official admin work. In certain schools, you're just given the admin work and you can do it as you wish to do it. So that's a bit subjective.
जी, तो ये पूरा जो आपका वर्क है वो देखते हुए मैं बस ये जानना चाहती हूँ कि कौन-कौन से स्टेक होल्डर्स होते हैं जिनके साथ आप वर्क करते हैं?
So the primary stakeholders are the students, the kids we teach. Then it's followed by their parents, their other family members, the community they live in, because the community plays a major role. Besides, from the people in our students' life, there is the school staff, which includes our HM, our headmaster, then other teachers in the school. And we also have other stakeholders such as our co-fellows, different people who are working in the organization and volunteers also.
या तो श्रेया बस इसी के साथ एक क्यूरियोसिटी थी मेरी जो मैं आपसे पूछना चाहती हूँ कि एक टीच फॉर इंडिया फेलो एंड एक टीचर का रोल थोड़ा-थोड़ा सिमिलर लग रहा है मुझे, तो ये कैसा डिफरेंट है एक दूसरे से? बस थोड़ा।
So the role differs in this aspect because a lot of low income schools do not have quality education. So that is where it comes into play. A Teach for India fellow comes into play so as to provide that quality of education in the schools. Then it also comes into play by the different teaching methods that they bring in. And the individual attention that they give to each child, and the number of resources also that they bring to the class in terms of making the classrooms very print rich with worksheets, charts, and those things. And it goes beyond teaching as well, because we are encouraged to take up community projects. So that is basically taking up community challenges and looking on how to solve them. So, for example, during COVID, a lot of fellows raised funds to help families. They provided, helped out families with rations and other basic necessities as well. So
Yeah.
that's how it was.
ओके श्रेया ठीक है। तो फिर मुझे बस नेक्स्ट ये जानना है आपसे कि ये पूरा वर्क जो है लाइक टीचिंग क्वालिटी एजुकेशन, तो इसमें ज्यादा इंटरेस्टिंग कौन सा वर्क लगता है, कौन सा टास्क लगता है आपको, एंड ऐसा कौन सा टास्क है जिसमें आप चैलेंज फेस करते हैं?
So for me, the most interesting aspect is that we have a lot of autonomy on how we want to conduct our classrooms. And we're also encouraged a lot to help students develop their vision and their emotional aspects also, which are generally excluded in our education system and not paid much attention on. So my most interesting experience has been when I've had student vision conversations with my students, wherein they just discuss about what are their goals, their visions, what problems they see in the society, how they wish to fix those problems, and things around that, on getting to know themselves, on their communities, what they feel, and all those things. So those conversations have been very interesting because it's interesting to see and know and hear so many different perspectives from such little kids.
Yeah. और चैलेंजिंग कौन सा लगता है?
The most challenging for me till now has been value building aspect of things, because the kids face a lot of social challenges. So how you deal with them, because they do get reflected in the classroom as well. So figuring out the right response at that point of time is one challenge that I face. And the other is, initially it was also connecting with the parents, on how to talk with the parents and how you build that trust and relationship with them. But we are guided through different things, and we have support from our managers and other fellows as well.
ओके श्रेया, तो थोड़ा और आगे बढ़ते हैं। अभी हम जानते हैं कि इस फेलोशिप की बाकी प्रोसेसेस क्या-क्या हैं। सॉरी।
या
हम बस ये जानते हैं आगे कि और क्या-क्या प्रोसेसेस होते हैं फेलोशिप में। मतलब ये तो हो गया, और कुछ आपको ट्रेनिंग मिलते होंगे या फिर लर्निंग सेशंस होते होंगे?
So there are trainings all throughout the year, and we get a schedule in advance for the different trainings that we have. And besides those trainings, we also have learning circles, in which
Okay.
a groups of fellows are made of a same grade, and they sort of come together to problem solve and discuss different things that they have done in their classrooms. So that encourages cross learning a lot. And then there are also regular meets with our managers to discuss our progress and what we can do better. Besides that, we also have a lot of alumni spaces wherein people from who are working in the industry and who have done the fellowship, they come in and share their experiences. So those are quite valuable. We have retreats also during the year and different kinds of conferences also. And besides that, there are a lot of opportunities also to grow. Like there are things provided such as fellow advisors, and there are certain opportunities you can access within the organization to go beyond your classroom and work within the space.
ओके, तो जब ये आपने बोला कि 2 इयर्स का ड्यूरेशन होता है फेलोशिप का, तो इसके बाद क्या-क्या करियर अपॉर्चुनिटीज है? कुछ प्लेसमेंट सेल वगैरह या फिर उनकी ओर से कुछ गाइडेंस या फिर जो भी चीजें हैं आपको प्रोवाइड की जाती हैं?
In our second year, a lot of focus is on our post-fellowship plans. So for that, we have a lot of sessions with alumni and in general awareness building sessions also on what opportunities are available to us post the fellowship. So alumni have gone on to work in different fields. They've gone on to work in private sector consulting, and then they've also started their own NGOs and startups. Then they're also actively working with different schools. Some are working as teachers, some are working with NGOs, some are working in the policy and governance space. So, like, there isn't anything that's not there after the fellowship. Some are doing their masters. And so there are a lot of opportunities regarding that. And we are provided with a lot of support for it as well, because we have a career fair also. And during the summer break also, like, we are encouraged to take up internships or externships so that we can make a better choice post the fellowship.
Yeah, this is very helpful for next future and career goals. ठीक है, तो और थोड़ा अभी आगे थोड़ा सा जानते हैं कि बाकी चीजें जो सब लोग जानना चाहते हैं आफ्टर ऑल, वो ये है कि आपको स्टाइपेंड कितना मिलता है?
So the stipend is 20,000 and we get a 10,000 rent allowance on top of it if we move from another city for the fellowship. So
Okay.
total 30.
ओके, तो पर मंथ आपको 30,000 स्टाइपेंड मिलता है?
Right.
ओके, ठीक है। तो इसके अलावा आपको क्या-क्या अलाउंसेस मिलते हैं? लाइक कि ट्रैवलिंग अलाउंसेस हो, इंटरनेट हो या फिर कोई व्हीकल प्रोवाइड किया जाता है? रिइंबर्समेंट का कैसे होता है फिर प्रोसेस?
So we have reimbursements for certain things, like we have reimbursement for internet, then all the material or worksheets that we get printed for our classrooms, we are reimbursed for that. Then during COVID, we also had reimbursements for our vaccination, and also we are provided travel allowances also. So that's
ओके,
for it.
ओके श्रेया। तो पूरे एक ईयर में अगर हम जानना चाहें तो कितनी लीव्स मिलती है आपको?
So our leaves are actually dependent a little bit on the school you're placed in also. And otherwise, we get 12 paid leaves in addition to our regular leaves. Our regular leaves are majorly on all major festivals. So like all the national festivals, Diwali, Eid, we get those major leaves, and then 12 paid leaves.
ओके, तो आगे हम ये जानते हैं कि बहुत सारे एस्पिरेंट्स है श्रेया, एज यू नो, कि एंट्रेंस एग्जाम की प्रिपरेशन करते हैं या फिर कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम की प्रिपरेशन करते हैं, तो वो अगर इस फेलोशिप में आना चाहे तो क्या वो उतना स्टडी के लिए टाइम दे पाएंगे?
So you can prepare for your competitive exams during your fellowship as well. And it's all about like how you manage your time and you do it. So you can definitely do that alongside.
यस, वो तो है, टाइम मैनेज करे तो भी सारी चीजें होती है। तो फिर अगर अभी आप तो फेलोशिप कर रहे हैं तो आप तो जानते हैं कि इसके लिए किस तरीके के कैंडिडेट सुटेबल होंगे। तो आगे मेरा क्वेश्चन यही है कि आपको क्या लगता है, आपके हिसाब से इस फेलोशिप के लिए मोस्ट सुटेबल कैंडिडेट कौन होगा?
So the basic requirement is that you have a graduation degree, and you should like be passionate and committed about the education industry, because otherwise it might get a little bit more tiring
Yeah.
otherwise. And the major skill sets that are looked for in fellows are interpersonal skills. So basically on how you build relationships, how you communicate with different stakeholders, because that is a major part of the fellowship. Then also problem solving skills are required, because daily you have different and new challenges coming up. So how you act and react to those challenges, how you deal with them. So a lot of critical thinking, problem solving, and interpersonal relation skills are required for that.
ओके और अभी आते हैं इस शो के लास्ट क्वेश्चन पे। वो ये है कि आप क्या मैसेज देना चाहती है फ्यूचर एप्लीकेंट्स को या फिर अपकमिंग बैच को?
So I would say that if you're willing to work into the education industry and further want to explore the social sector, Teach for India provides a very good platform to begin with, because you get to understand the ground reality and the different challenges in the space. So if you're passionate and committed about it, you should definitely give it a try and have an open mind on what the fellowship has to offer.
ओके, थैंक यू सो मच श्रेया इस शो में आने के लिए। और आप सभी की जानकारी के लिए मैं बता दूं कि स्टेप अहेड जो है फ्री में मेंटरशिप प्रोवाइड करते हैं। आप अगर किसी फेलोशिप के लिए अप्लाई करना चाहते हो तो आपको पूरा गाइडेंस मिलेगा, वो भी फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट। उसी के साथ ही ये जो सीरीज चल रही है वो भी गाइडेंस के लिए चल रही है। ऐसे बच्चे जो कि अलग अलग फेलोशिप्स में अप्लाई करना चाहते हैं बट थोड़ा सा उनके मन में डाउट है कि ये फेलोशिप एक्चुअली है क्या एंड इसकी ग्राउंड रियलिटी क्या है, इसके लिए ये शो हम सीरीज ला रहे हैं ताकि आपको क्लैरिटी आए इसके रिगार्डिंग। और अब आगे मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट शो में। उसी के साथ ही अगर आप श्रेया से पर्सनली जुड़ना चाहते हैं तो उसके लिंक हम डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में दे देंगे एंड हमारे बाकी अगर किसी ग्रुप में आप ऐड होना चाहते हैं टेलीग्राम या फिर व्हाट्सएप, उसके भी लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में है। Thank you so much, Shreya, for coming this show. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay.